Hey everybody, welcome to Everyday Influence. I'm so excited that you're joining me on my first ever episode of this podcast. I'm your host, Chiamaka, and you'll pretty much hear my voice before every episode. Now, today's guest needs no introduction if you're on social media, but because we're polite over here, okay, because we have decorum, we had to do our due diligence and introduce her. So without further ado, let's get into it. Today's guest is a host, content creator. She is an entrepreneur, an executive. She literally and figuratively wears all the hats. Like if you see her timeline, you'll just see all these amazing hats and head wraps. She's a boss in every respect. And I'm so happy to have her, the wonderful, the brilliant, the beautiful Miss Beverly Adaeze. Please, studio audience, clap for her.
Hi, that was such an awesome introduction. Wow, thank you.
Not a problem. Also, we don't have a studio audience.
It's okay, no problem. God is the studio dance, no worries.
Right. It wasn't in the budget. We didn't put in the budget.
I'll ask my little brother. I'll ask my brother to clap.
No, oh my gosh, thank you. That'd be great. Besides my intro, is there anything else like where you're from? And
I feel like you pretty much said it all. Well, I was born in Lagos, Nigeria, but I live in Houston, Texas. And so, yeah, I've been here for a minute. That's really all there is to me. I create content, but it's funny because I didn't go into it thinking, oh, I want to be an influencer. I don't even know if I really care for that term. I'm like, listen, I just love creating content and I hope it blesses people. And I just press record and I press post and just let it do what it do.
And it does what it does, actually. Like I said earlier when we were talking, like it's a joy to people's life. And yeah. It's really funny. You're a hilarious person.
Thank you.
And I actually wanted to ask you about like, how did you get to this point where, you know, you're creating these characters and like, it's so organic. It seems like it's like second nature for you. Like, where did you get the inspiration for all of these characters?
Man, okay. I'm trying to think about when I first started, even just the first video I put out there on Instagram was like the video of me like rubbing just lotion. I was so nervous about that. I think I sent it to like 12 friends. I was like, okay, y'all tell me if it's not funny, I don't want to post it, you know? And so from then on, I just would just get random things, right? I would just get random, like really a lot of my inspiration comes from my mother. And so just little things that she would do, I'm like, oh, I can make a funny video about that and just kind of exaggerate a little bit. And then so as time goes on, you know, you're on Instagram, you know, you're seeing different challenges or you just see different things that's happening in like pop culture that I can like, okay, I can pull from this and I can kind of add my own little African spin to it or just whatever, because not everything I do is based around the African culture, you know, and I think that's really where my inspiration comes from. Some things just like drop into my head. I feel like this is how I know that God has a sense of humor. Because that therapy skit, I was like, okay, I was washing dishes and that one just came to me. And so other ones, I pull from different things, you know? So yeah.
So I actually wanted to talk about like your creative journey. I brought up this post and it said like, I never thought of myself as a creative until about 4 years ago. Tradition and imposter syndrome has trapped me into a box of limitation, but creativity began to spark when I became obedient to the things God was calling me to do. God is bigger than your insecurities. I was like, period. He is bigger than imposter syndrome and he is bigger than the box that we put him in. He's the creative creator and he is a big God, so live like it. And I was like, wow, okay, just drag me. Can you talk about that a little more? Can you expand on that?
Right. And that post is so true. So besides content, I'm a hairstylist, right? After I got my bachelor's, I was like, well, I'm going to do what I enjoy doing. And so when I went to cosmetology school, I think that's when the first batch of creativity started, and I would just do these editorials and I started winning competitions and I was like, wait, I have a little something. And I think before then, I just always thought that I had to go this path that our parents just kind of laid out for us. So there was never any room to get creative. And so when, you know, just realizing, okay, I have a little, you know, gift. My friends think I'm a little funny. I don't know if anybody else is going to think of it, but I'm just going to do it. And just to see the traction that it brings in and how people could relate to it, I'm like, you know what, maybe there's something here. And I'm not going to sit here and say that I have just overcome imposter syndrome completely, because I do still struggle with some things. But I'm like, you know what, God, what keeps me going is the fact that life is so short, and I don't want to, you know, get to the end of my life and be like, wow, there's so many things I did not do because I was so afraid.
Right.
And I think when I look at my business and social media, that's an example of just do it. Just start.
Yeah.
You don't know where this thing is going. I didn't know where this thing was going to take me. I don't know. And I still don't know, you know? And
Right.
so it's really just about putting one foot in front of the other.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm a big advocate for just being bold and courageous, because courage isn't really, courage says, okay, I may be there's a little bit of fear there, but I'm going to push through it. I'm going to do it anyway. So a lot of what I do is just me being, experiencing that initial fear, but I'm like, you know what? I'm going to do it anyway. And my attitude is, it is what it is. If it hits, it hits. If it doesn't, it doesn't.
Right.
I'm just going to do it. Why not? And so.
Thank you. What I'm learning, I also have like those bouts of like doubt and fear, especially with this podcast, like where you're the creative director, the producer, the talent,
Yeah.
and everything. One thing that I hold on to is scripture. When God says like be courageous, he's with you and all of that. And I meditate on it. I'm like, all right, cool. God, you put this idea in my heart, then I can move forward.
Mm-hmm.
So did you have any like tactical steps that you could share with anyone about getting past that fear and getting past that, that anxiety with creativity?
Honestly, you pretty much just laid out like what I do, right? I'm a big believer in, if something has been on your heart for a while,
Mm-hmm.
I feel like God put it there for a reason,
Mm-hmm.
right? And so I just look at it as like, either I do this thing, or the thought of this thing is going to haunt me if I just don't do it, because it's there for a reason. So you might as
Right.
well do it, or you're just going to be spending the rest of your life wondering what if. And so I rely on scripture a lot, and I'm realizing that, or what I have realized is really not by my own strength. I'm just trusting God. And like I
Right.
said, putting one foot in front of the other. And I'm like, okay, God is not going to make a fool of me. If he's put
True.
something in my
Yeah.
heart, I'm going to trust that this is what he put in my heart. And I'm just going to do it,
Mm-hmm.
and we'll see what happens. And so, yeah, as long as the motive, and you'll know it's from God, because the motive won't be, self-glorifying or just selfish, or, oh, look at me, look what I'm doing. No, it's to inspire people, to take his word further, to encourage somebody. So,
Right.
yeah.
Exactly. Exactly. I totally agree. I just wanted to bring it back to your mom, because you did mention that your mom is your inspiration for
Mm-hmm.
like all of your content.
Yeah.
And I like, what did she think of you going into this journey? Like you said, your path is non-traditional according to like
Mm-hmm.
African standards. So how did your parents like perceive this whole journey as a
Ah,
content creator, as a
but
creative in
what
general?
they don't even they know I do videos. They don't even know the extent. They just they're still asking me for another degree. So I'll send them video, and they'll send to their friends. We'll leave it at that. Because if you go into it, because the thing is, African parents, they have to see the big money has to come.
Right.
Or, so I'm just at the point where I'm like, okay, let me just, they know I record, and I love the fact that, I'll be like, hey, because I live with them. I'll be
Mhm.
like, hey, I'm recording. They'll keep it down. So they respect that. But I feel like, let me not confide in them too much, because yes,
Yeah.
they love me, but their mindset sometimes it's so traditional, and they mean well. But I just, I'll send them little videos and stuff. And so, but I don't go into too much depth, because I don't want them to be bringing up another degree. I'm showing them Mama Agnes, they're talking about your mates I've married. So I limit, I limit it. And honestly, sometimes I wonder, my mom gets, they don't express their emotions. That's the thing.
Right. That's
So
the
even
problem.
if they love it, they'll probably send it, but they'll never tell you,
Exactly.
or sometimes I'm sure she looks at some of those videos and like, I don't do like that. I'm sure she does. So yeah, all right. My dad, I'm actually going to ask him to help me record a TikTok. So they know I record and stuff, and they know
Mhm.
that, I'm getting like, little brand deals here and there, but
Mhm.
they won't I'm not going to hold my breath, because I will turn blue if I'm waiting for them to say something. So I know that they're probably excited, but I know they want to see a little bit. They have to see the big, big, big picture first.
They have to see like the actual fruit of the work before,
Right.
yeah, because as of now, my dad is also asking me to get a PhD because I got a master's.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm not doing
Ah.
it. Yeah, I can't. Like, please,
Instead of
please.
instead of PhD, you're talking inside microphone.
Right. He doesn't know I'm talking to a microphone. So that one,
Really?
we haven't had that conversation yet. So I'm just waiting for that one. I
Oh
just
Lord.
like let him, I just let him know, like, hey, pray
Mhm.
for something else,
Yeah. Okay, HPD. No, no, no. Africans are funny.
Yeah, they are. And It's funny that you mentioned your parents. You do adopt this like maternal personality on IG, giving people life advice, dragging
Right.
people. That whole video that you posted about like tearing bed sheet, I looked at my toes. I was like, wow, like, Beverly, you just be dragging people
Girl,
online
I'm
for
not gonna
no
lie. I'm not gonna
reason.
lie, girl. I'm not gonna lie to you right now.
Like,
But I'm gonna paint over them. I'm gonna paint over them. No, I'm not gonna lie, low key. I was recording a WhatsApp voice note to one of my friends in Nigeria. You know, I was like, oh, let me just kind of do a little grooming, and I clipped this, and the thing went flying, and you heard it on. You could hear it. I said, my Christy, I'm so sorry. I didn't know that you hear this. So me too. I have to get myself in order because it's not only you. But I try though. I try to it because it feels good. It feels good
yeah,
to take. It doesn't mean you have to go out here and spend thousands of dollars, but just to present yourself well, it feels good. And
yeah, it
I want
does.
to
It
encourage
does.
more women to do that. So
So I'm gonna take a break right now.
okay,
Is that cool with you?
that's fine. That's where the sponsors will come in by God's
Yeah,
grace.
yeah, by God's grace. We'll
They would
just
come.
You are listening to Everyday Influence Podcast. And yeah, we don't have sponsors right now, but it's okay. You know why? Because God is the God who provides. We do not worry at this camp, okay? We trust in the God who provides. So in the meantime, you can follow us at Everyday Influence Pod on IG. And let's get back to the show.
welcome back, everyone. Thank you for chilling with us. As you know, we have Beverly Adaeze here, and she
Hey.
has graced us with her presence. And I just had like one question. You mentioned self-love. How do you show self-love?
Yes. So, as we all know, 2020 was a big eye-opening year for us, right?
Mm,
And so, for me, self-love for me is really decreasing the amount of stress in my life. And so, I made the decision last year to close down my business and just walk into a whole new season. So, I think just with that, it was a right decision for me because now I get to really walk in what I feel like God is calling me to do. So I feel like that is a little bit of self-love. I also started going to therapy, which is good.
oh, cool.
Yeah, I go to therapy, not as often now, but in the beginning.
Mhm,
And then also I do staycations. I
mhm,
take time to just spend time with myself and spend
mhm.
time with God because that's really important.
Yeah.
And as with being a hairstylist too, I also want to encourage other hairstylists because it's so easy to burn out. And I felt, just the effects of burnout. So I'm so against it that I'm trying to preach like, hey, you need to take care of yourself. If you
Mm,
need to take this day off, take the day off. Stop,
right.
don't overdo it. And so I think knowing that I've been on the other side, now I'm an advocate for listen, we have to take care of ourselves. We have to eat well. We have to work out, just to be
Yeah.
your best self. So
Right. I totally agree. And I think it's really hard, especially in our culture as well. Like I see my
mhm,
parents, they work hard and like it's the immigrant mentality to just be working and working, working, getting to
mhm.
your goals. While rest is biblical. Like if God rested, why
Yes.
wouldn't I rest?
And you know what? And I think I'm realizing that, man, I'm ready to get away from the hustle and bustle of American life.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking a lot of people are realizing that as well. But I just see myself walking into this a new season of just simplicity. And
Right.
I'm a big advocate for just keeping things simple and just being a minimalist, and
Hmm.
just keeping like focusing on the main thing. It's not about, oh, I mean, don't get me wrong, I like to make money, but in this season, I'm trying to see how can I work smarter
And
and
not
not
hard.
harder.
Hmm.
Exactly.
Hmm.
So that I can live, so that I can enjoy, spend time. What's the point of all this working, working, working? By the time you get home, you're too exhausted to even, spend with your family. Like you're working to get, it's just this rat race. And so,
Right.
yes, it is important. Of course, we have to work, we have to make money to live a certain whatever lifestyle we want to live, but we have to rest and let the main thing be the main thing. Don't work so hard that you miss out on your days or you can't go for your dreams because you're just working yourself to the ground. So,
Exactly. And you can't spend time with your family or
mhm.
really like stop and see like all the amazing thing God is doing in your life. You're just like consumed with the 9 to 5.
Or just a
And
little, just to sit, like, I
yeah.
swear, even now I have to fight against it just to sit and watch a Netflix movie,
Hmm.
and I'll have to turn my phone down, not answer any emails. It's a challenge, and I'm like, why is it such a challenge? Because I feel like there's always something that needs to be done. And so I
Right.
think with anxiety, your mind is just, for me, I know my mind is just, there's so many things to do because I have to, do this business. I have to, create content and all these things. And I'm just like, you know what? I need to slow down. And I need to just watch this movie, whatever it is, and just rest my mind, because that's not healthy.
Thank you so much. I am like such a perfectionist. No,
know.
I'm such a perfectionist. I can't be doing things anyhow. Like I'm not an anyhow girl. God didn't create me to be an anyhow girl. So I have to be on top of my game, but at the same respect, I have to like chill out.
But operating in excellence and perfectionism is two different things.
Ooh,
so as long as you're operating in excellence and making sure you're giving it your all, and that you're putting out quality, of course, then that's fine. But perfectionism is going to nitpick at every little thing. Nothing is ever going to be perfect. Even when I'm over here recording videos, sometimes I'm like, I'll record it over like 20 times. And I'm like, okay, why? Like,
right.
So, you know what? The lighting is good. I look decent, record it, just take a few takes, but to be recording over 20 times, for me, I'm like, that's not good. That's not healthy.
Right.
That's me being nitpicky. Like, oh, what are they going to say? What are they going to, no. Just do it. Just be free and just talk. So yeah.
Thanks.
You're welcome.
That was super encouraging. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, my question is like, when did you realize like I'm really good at this?
I mean, I feel like the first video got decent feedback. I can't even tell you when, like, that one time, that one moment. But I think just realizing that, wow, people are really relating to this. And I'm like, I thought it was cool. I didn't think y'all was gonna, like, okay, cool, you like it, that's great. And so I think just over time seeing that, wow, people can really relate to these things. And so I might be onto something. And I think just hearing other people, kind of confirm, and be like, hey, you're good at this. I love your content. Keep doing this. Oh, you need to do this. You need to, And so I think really hearing it from other people, kind of let me know that, okay, I got a little something here. I'll work with it.
Yeah, I think the day Kev on stage, Yvonne Orji and Lovey reposted you, I'm like, oh my goodness, I'm so excited for you.
It's
like
crazy. But I think I need to do better, because I'm one of those, I try not to make a big deal, because I think I'm so afraid of becoming one of those individuals that gets so big headed, that I'm like, I downplay stuff a lot. I downplay it a lot. And I'm like, okay, there needs to be a balance, because yes, don't let your head get too big, but then also learn to celebrate a little bit. And so I'm trying to find that balance, because I'm like, oh no, it's okay. But when Kevin on stage reposted it, I was like, wow, because it wasn't just in his story, it was on his page. So I'm like, wow, he really didn't even have to do, and it was about braiding. I'm like, I didn't even know.
I didn't know he knew African braiders in general. Like,
I didn't know. I mean, guys related to it, because Jesse Williams from Grey's Anatomy reposted it on his story too. And I'm like, wow, that's so random.
Right.
This out of all things about an African braiding shop. I don't know, my dear. I don't know. But I would take it.
I mean, you should take it.
Why not? It's a blessing. And Yvonne, I think she's reposted me at least like twice. And so like, I try not to be like a fan girl. I just try to keep it real simple and like, hey, thank you so much. Like, because she really didn't have to. She could have just watched it and just gone on her way. So the fact that she reposted it, I really appreciate that. So
yeah, that's awesome. Congratulations. Honestly, you should be proud of yourself.
Yeah, but I'm not like, buy my mixtape. I'm like, I'm not.
You're not the one in the Twitter comments.
The same way I would respond to, a decent human being,
right.
Just leave it at that.
Yeah, totally. So my next question is, what's one thing you wish you've known when you began this creative journey?
Oh my goodness. One thing I wish I would have, pause that 1 second.
No, it's okay. Take your time.
I think I would have known. I don't know. Like something to improve on, or I can't think of anything. I guess.
So I guess that means you have no regrets at all then. Like you're really content with the journey. That's what I'm hearing.
Well, okay. So I won't say this is one thing I should have known, but I think because everything happened so soon, I want to say around this time last year, maybe I was already like at 3,000 followers. I don't know. And so now that it's kind of skyrocketed, people be like, oh, do you have like you should be getting, more deals and all these things. And I'm getting them now. But I think because my intention was not to just, I didn't wake up and say, you know what, I want to be an influencer and I'm going to take these pictures and I'm going to, I was just kind of putting stuff out there.
Right.
And so now, I had to show myself some grace because I'm like, well, it just kind of happened. So you can't beat yourself up about, oh, not pitching to these brands or doing, because I have a whole nother business. I have other things to do. So I've learned to show myself grace and say, you know what, I may have started a little later, but I'm, now I have this platform and I can do more with it. And that's okay. So I would say just showing myself grace.
So what advice would you give to someone who wants to pursue a career similar to yours? So you said that in this journey, you wish you'd, showed yourself more grace. Like, well, you're learning to show yourself more grace, of course, because your growth went from like 3,000 to like 56K in a couple of months. And that's a lot.
Yeah.
So in the same respect, like what advice would you give someone who wants to be an influencer or a content creator?
So I've actually gotten this question a few times, especially for some ladies in my inbox. They're like, oh, how did you get your following to grow? And I was like, I don't know. I was just putting stuff out there. But I think what's important to note is that, like I said, my intention was not to, I need to gain X amount of followers. I need to be this. I need, I just did what I, enjoyed doing and what I thought people would enjoy. And I just put it out there. And, that time when we started quarantine, it was a time for me to be more creative. And so my advice would just be consistent and be yourself. And you see how in the beginning you were telling me that, it seemed organic and it seemed like it just comes to me naturally. I told the lady, I was like, I don't force the funny. Like if something is not funny, if I don't feel like it's genuinely funny, I'm not going to do it, or even if I get, emails that say, hey, we want you to promote our stuff, our product and do a video. And I tell them, well, I can only do a video if I can think of a genuinely funny concept, or I can only promote your brand if I can think of something that would fit on my page. Right. I'm not just going to take your money and put stuff out there just because. And then also I don't pressure myself. I don't allow people to tell me when to post unless you're paying me, and even with that, I still give myself, enough time, but people will really, they don't understand that people have full lives. I'm not a full content creator yet. But sometimes people forget that you're a human being. When I post because, I'm a human being and I have things to do. And I tell myself, I'm not putting myself under that pressure because that's how people get burnt out. Focusing on the followers and you're focusing on the cloud and who's reposting you, who's liking your stuff, then you'll fall under that pressure of, I don't want to lose my followers. So let me just keep posting. And you'll be posting nonsense,
and you kind of lose yourself. You're not going to be genuine anymore. And you're not going to be authentic. And people go to your page for your authenticity. From what from my friends, we've always talked about it. I'm saying anecdotally, like we go to your page because you're authentic and everything seems organic. So I applaud you for doing that and for realizing that early, because you see that you could see in like the stream of people's content and like other users' content, like that genuity kind of fades away when like the brand deals come in and when the recognition and the clout come in. So I totally applaud you.
That's true. And I said, and I'm glad that I caught on to that early, because I was just like, people will not come and kill you. It's not me, because and also there are times where I take breaks from social media, and I'm not going to allow the pressure of being a content creator to feel like I'll see some posts on TikTok or, Instagram, and they're like, you need to be posting 10 times a day on your stories and 2 times a day, 2 feed posts a day. And I'm just like, I mean, that's cool for you, but that's a lot of work. Like I have other things to do. And there may be some time where because sometimes when you consume so much social media, you need to detox. And sometimes I feel like, okay, I need to spend more time with God, because I do want to post memes and stuff that'll make people laugh, but not at the expense of my time with God. And so I'll just take a break. I'll just take a week or 2. I won't post nothing. And I don't have to explain myself. I don't have to say, oh guys, I'm taking a break. It's your business. When I come back is when I come back. You see me.
You don't have to post an iPhone note or anything. Like,
right. Whole dissertation. Girl, I don't have time for that. I will take my break. You see me when you see me.
I have 2 more questions, and because I know that it's getting late and it's the Super Bowl, people care about. I didn't
even know.
Oh, wow. What does being an influencer mean to you? Actually, I wanted to ask this first. And
it's crazy when people say that. I don't know, because when I look at myself, I'm like, influencer, because my mind thinks of the bloggers and the women that take the really nice photos and they're in front of Saks and all that. So when people call me an influencer, I'm like, really? So it's new to me, but I think the idea of an influencer is just somebody that can make an impact in your society. Like you have influence. Like if you say, hey, buy this product, or, this is how you should do things. You have impacts where people will listen. And so I always want to make sure that I'm pushing out the right message and I'm not pushing out nonsense. Right. And I think especially in this world, the social media generation where you're having just vanity pushed so much, they're pushing out vanity. They're telling you this is what you need to look like. You need to be doing this. You need to be working 24/7, working yourself to the ground. I'm like, well, I kind of want to combat that. And I want to, encourage people to take care of themselves, be at your best, but you don't have to walk around looking like a reindeer, like be the best for your body type, right? Because I realize that there are young girls out there and they're so impressionable. So I have to make sure that the message I'm pushing out is positive and encouraging. And also is the truth, because sometimes you don't want to hear the truth, but you have to hear it. And also making sure that I don't care how big this platform gets, that, nobody can, we live in cancel culture. I'm like, y'all not gonna punk me. It's okay. If you don't like, don't look.
They can't,
but if
God is telling me to say, create it.
It's true. God has not cancel me. It's only God that will cancel me. So if I'm saying something that God wants me to say, that's your business. You didn't create me, so and so just realizing exactly.
Right. That's awesome, Beverly. That's amazing. Yeah. And what you're doing is great. And women are being inspired by you. You're just being yourself. You're being your authentic self. And you're actually you're checking people in a very funny and relatable way. To the point where yo, they're looking at their toenails, they're looking at their nails, they're looking at themselves. Both externally and internally, yo, I need to get myself together. And you really bring light to those issues that sometimes could be swept under the rug because we're busy. So much appreciated. Thank you. Appreciated.
I haven't always been like this. So a lot of the stuff that when I started saying it, it was things that I was learning. Just, and I'm like, man, I don't have to be when I started my business, I literally painted that whole place by myself because I didn't want to ask for help. I wanted to do it by myself. And I still fought myself, and I ended up having to put wallpaper over it anyway. And so I was like, you know what? I should have just asked a guy friend. I should have just asked for help. Why not? Why do I have to feel like I have to? Girl, I was literally carrying stuff from Home Depot, buckets of paint.
Wait, so you were actually that one character that was carrying the whole household, that was carrying the foundation.
Now she was working at the factory, but no, I was literally carrying a ladder into my suite and painting and I'm like, is this not madness?
It's insane.
It's crazy. And I'm just like, you know what? No, I'm a whole lady. I'm going to ask for help. Okay.
Yeah. I can't stress myself. My friend always says that. He's like, I can't stress myself. I'm like, yeah, I'm going to adopt that.
That's true.
Especially when you have guy friends. What are they doing?
Exactly.
They're not doing anything.
Pride. Just pride and stubbornness. I've learned though.
Yeah. And I guess my last question, who are the 3 people who have been the most influential to you and why?
Oh my goodness. Okay, pause. Hold on.
It's okay.
Because in my mind I'm thinking celeb. I'm trying to see. Okay, I think I got it.
Okay.
So I love Tabitha Brown.
Oh, she's so lovely.
Yeah. And I love her because she's just herself. And she just has a personality that it's magnetic. And so when I see her and she's so, she's so encouraging. She's like that auntie that just hugs you. And so she's
the internet's auntie.
Literally.
She's hugging the whole world.
Right. And I just feel like she'll just give me some mints in her little purse and I'll just feel better. And so she's definitely one of them. She's very encouraging. I do love Kev on stage. I love the fact that he puts people on his platform and he wants to see people, especially people of color, win. He really does. He's very genuine. And then lastly, I would just say my auntie in Nigeria, really all of them, but I love my auntie. They're hilarious. Sometimes I feel like this thing is genetic, but my aunties are very encouraging and they're not as traditional. They're like, baby girl, you have a gift, use it. Use your gift. And so they're always rooting for me. So they really inspire me. They're really good.
So last question. I lied. Sorry. Last question.
No, it's okay.
Where can we find you?
Okay, you can find me on the interwebs, on the Instagram at Beverly Adaeze, and also on TikTok at Beverly Adaeze, and then YouTube as well. I will do better. Beverly Adaeze
I'll
as
hold
well.
you at your word.
I know you're gonna have to. I recorded 2 videos. I just need to just sit down and edit. So I'm excited. In a few months, I'm actually gonna have time to be a full content creator. So I'm looking forward to that. So,
congratulations.
thank you. That's a leap of faith as well. And so, but I'm really excited. So yes, you can find me on TikTok and Instagram. I won't say Facebook, or that's the one where I will keep my friends. Please don't look for me on Facebook. I beg, I will block you.
All right. So you heard it, everyone. Follow her on Instagram, follow her on TikTok. I don't have a TikTok, but if I did, I would follow you. I'm sorry, girl. I can't catch up with all these social media things. I joined Clubhouse. I'm like, I gotta go. It's too much.
Oh my goodness.
It's a lot.
Yes, ma'am.
It's too much noise. Thank you so much, Beverly. Like,
you're welcome.
I'm inspired, I'm motivated, I'm encouraged, and I truly, truly pray that God will continue to guide you and lead you and bless you in this journey. Like, you've been amazing. You've been such a source of joy.
Oh,
and
thank you.
Yeah, have a great night.
Thank you.
Please follow Beverly at all of her accounts. And you can also follow Everyday Influence Podcast at Everyday Influence Pod on Instagram. Now, if you really, really rock with us, feel free to leave us 5 stars on Apple Podcasts, because that will help people find our content more easily. And honestly, we just want to be a light in the world. We want to be a light in people's lives and share God's goodness and graciousness and faithfulness and everything that He's done through our stories. So please, please feel free to rate us 5 stars so that more people can find our content. Hope you enjoyed this episode. Go forth and be a great influence.